tournament might soon expand, and with that expansion could just gobble up the NIT. And if this is the end of the NIT, it had a chance going into the night at MSG to end historically. North Carolina and Dayton in the title game. A heels win would make NIT history because they would be the first team to win the NCAA title one year and NIT the next. I'm sure Roy Williams was shooting for that back in September.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right? Dayton up by 1. Larry Drew puts Carolina up with a 3-ball, and then Chris Johnson on the break for the Flyers. They're up by 6. More Dayton. Paul Williams puts them up 6, and watch him just continue to shoot the long ball. Paul Williams on this night, 4 of 7 from downtown, 16 points. Those 3 were big because just before half it gave the Flyers a 13-point lead going into the locker room. Dayton then, their lead cut all the lead in 2. London Warren on the drive hits Williams for 3 more. So Williams' big night had Dayton up 5 at that point. Flyers looking for their 3rd NIT championship, the first since the 60s. Chris Johnson for 3. This team shot and made the long ball, 11 of 29 from downtown, as Dayton does win its 3rd NIT championship, keeps North Carolina from winning its 2nd and making the NIT history I mentioned before. Time for a post-game extra from Madison Square Garden. Ron Franklin and Bill Raftery.
79-68, it is the Flyers of Dayton who wind up victorious and winning the NIT, and you see some of the emotion. And I'll tell you something, folks, if you don't keep up with the NIT, these guys not only won here tonight, they defeated Ole Miss on Tuesday night, they had to go on the road and win at Illinois. They also had to go on the road and beat Cincinnati. I think they've earned their stripes. They should not be a surprise to be in this position.
They are competitive, and they rearranged their whole attitude. You didn't make the NCAA. What are we going to do to step forward? Let's give it our best effort. And, of course, the rotation of bodies, they're always fresh. The Johnson, not brothers, but they certainly are kindred spirit in the way they play.
Johnson and Johnson, you're right. That's really good.
Unbelievable. The kick out, making deep shots when necessary, coming up with an extraordinary footwork in the open floor. Little kick out, nylon from deep, big time rebounds. This is Chris, tournament MVP, stretching out. So impressive all during the course of the tournament. Hurt his hip, but how about that? Little lingerie on the deck on the slide by, and then his partner going to the rim and finishing strong.
Well, he didn't look like he had an injured hip. He came out and worked really hard just before the start of the second half. But you can imagine how excited Brian Gregory was. He didn't contain himself, but our friend Frischella had an opportunity to talk with him just a couple of moments ago about this victory.
Well, first of all, Brian, congratulations, but take us through selection Sunday night, the disappointment at the end of the season, and how you rallied your team.
We talked about that night. You know, there's different ways to look at it. We were disappointed in ourselves. We didn't perform well enough. We didn't deserve to get in. So we talked about playing well, and how do we want to go out, in particular the 5 seniors, 7 total. How do you want to be remembered? What kind of legacy? Well, tonight they win the championship, and they leave here the all-time winningest senior class in the history of a program. I think they did a pretty good job of putting a stamp on what this program means to them.
I think you ought to take your team picture at Grand Central Station because of the way you run guys in and out. Explain that philosophy.
We just really felt it's kind of evolved that our best attributes were our athletic ability and explosiveness and the intensity and fury that we want to play with. You got to be fresh to do it. It's not often in this day and age people give up to that unselfishness, and our guys have done it. Unbelievable character, unbelievable pride.
Talk about the last question. Talk about your seniors and what they meant to Dayton basketball.
They've changed the face of this program. How we play, how we go about doing things. You know, London didn't start tonight. Accountability issue. He knew that, and it didn't matter. Everybody rallied together. Just toughness. Those guys have brought that edge of toughness that you know you got to have great, tough players to win games.
Great win. Congratulations on winning the tournament.
Thanks, Randy.
Brian Gregory, the head coach at Dayton. I'm sold. I'm really a fan of his. This has been fun hanging around him and watching him handle his ball club.
You know, he's so enthusiastic, you know, radiates, and he just, and his kids play that way. They just generate a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. They get down and dirty. Tough kids.
And for Roy Williams, you know, he kept his team out here during this this entire celebration, and they had to sit or stand on the sideline. And again, it's a learning experience. By the way, we need to give kudos to Will Graves, career high 25 points in this one this evening. Tough win, but still, I think Carolina came a long way. And the reason I'm still going to go with my feeling, I think the NIT is important because I think it can help teams that are young and labor. They still get that extra time to work and prove that, it'll really help you for next year.
Well, anytime you play, it's important. Of course, it does teach them a lot. And I just love savoring the moment, Carolina, but also Roy's respect for the opponent. They played great, and they certainly deserve it.
Hey, enjoyed it, my friend. I hope this is not our last.
But yeah. So.
79-68, the final score. The Flyers of Dayton are the champions. They won the first here at the Garden. They may be the last to win the NIT here at the Garden.